Hey guys, this is CajunMan. It's been a little while since I've made a guide, so let's see, what has it been? Probably like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I ended up moving, and internet took forever to get and stuff. But we're back in the saddle, and we're gonna be making a lot of shit now. So bear with me. I'm a little sick. Fucking, I was like the sickest I've ever been the other week, and now I just have a cough coming after it. So. Anyway, this is going to be, I don't know if you'll call this a guide, an anti-guide. This is going to be everything ZVT and how I play it out. Starting out with my hate of Mutalus and why anybody ever fucking builds Mutalus in this build. Excuse my French whenever I go through this. I'm going to be cursed a lot, so if you prefer things PG-13, you might want to change this first part and skip to the next one. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some Mutalus. I'm in the unit tester, so we're going to get 12 of them. More. And we're going to grab some Marines. There we go. Just so they're nice and compact. Alright, so you're going to grab your Mutalus. And we're going to keep them nice and packed. And we're going to try and hit a Marine. Back out, we got out. Okay, pause. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is we lost a Mutalus there. That's kind of annoying. I mean, that really shouldn't happen, but whenever you do this unit tester, you're always going to have a Mutalus at half-life whenever you get done hitting a Marine, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so you'll notice we killed a Marine out of that. The first Marine will always die out of this. The second Marine is going to take 20 to 25 damage. This one took, what, 26? Yeah. No, 24. I'm fucking math today. And the third Marine is always going to take about 7 to 8 damage. Now, you're going to wonder why that's a big deal to me. That's because if you didn't play Brood War, you wouldn't understand why Mutalus is so shit now. Now, they're still usable, because of their mobility and stuff, which isn't the case anymore. But I'll get to that later. Because at Brood War, this Marine would be dead, this Marine would be half dead. In Brood War, Mutalus were so much better. That's why they were so effective. In Brood War, you didn't even need 12 Mutalus. 11 was what you needed, because you needed to put an Overlord in your control group to keep them bunched up. Now, even with 12, I don't do the same damage. If you go back and look at Brood War clips, Brood War videos, this Marine would be dead. Like I said, this one would be half dead. Before, you could even bounce your glaive if you were in a mineral line. You could bounce your glaive off of their extractor, and it would bounce off the sunken colony, and it would still kill SCVs. Okay, so this is the first reason why I don't like Mutalus, and this is just Wings of Liberty. I'm not talking about Heart of the Swarm yet. Obviously in Wings of Liberty you could go Mutalus. It was kind of effective. You could go Mutalus for like 25 minutes in the game if you really wanted to, if you stuck to it. For new reasons, they're not as effective in Heart of Swarm, which I'll get to. But I'm just professing all of this. Mutalus before, you could go like Muta Ling Bane, and you could hold off and you could do a lot of damage. You could even win the game oftentimes. But it still wasn't effective as it was in Brood War. Before, like, alright, so my next point. Before, in Brood War, you had medics. There were no medevacs. In fact, before I do that, let me reset it, and I'll add in some units. Before, you had medics. And what medics did is they would obviously heal just like a medevac, about the same rate, I think. And whenever you went to STEM, oftentimes the medics would get in the way, which was a big reason why Mutalus were better. Mutalus could bounce their glaives off of medics. They could get around. These Marines wouldn't all be able to hit me at the same time oftentimes. I would be in a nice tight little ball. I would come up, bam, one Marine, bounce off, pause. Oftentimes, none of these Marines would have shot. There would have been 4 or 5 medics in the way, and I'd have gotten hit by 3 Marines, killed 2, and obviously damaged 1, and then bounced away. Now, because of medevacs, there's no such thing as blocking. So whenever you're going to stop a drop, when you're fighting a large army, medevacs are now, or medics are no longer in the way. They don't. Before, medics didn't have stim, so these faster units would bounce around behind them while my mutalists just hit one and flew off. Um, this marine didn't even get killed. I killed one in that exchange. This one is gonna live because of this healing. Whereas before, I could have killed two because of the bounce and the fact that the medics were blocking or in the way. Oftentimes, if I couldn't, that often meant I got away without a scratch on me because I would get hit a marine, nothing else would be able to shoot, and I'd back away. Now, obviously this wasn't always the case, but it was much more likely, and I could often do more damage. Now, because of medevacs, that's an impossibility, and another reason why mutalists can't zone as well, because they're always going to get shot. There's nothing blocking or stopping these marines for doing any damage all at the same time, and it takes just a little stutter step to do anything to them. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. Let's reset that because that's kind of fucking annoying. Where was I gonna? Okay, so now in Heart of the Swarm, you've got. Let's see. There we go. You've got mines. Mines when. Hold on. Oh, did it not show you? Oh, there it is. Mines when burrowed do 125 plus 35 to shield and 40 splash damage to nearby units. Mutalists have 120 life and get insta-gived by a single mine. So let's do this. We're trolling along. We're gonna pick off a marine. Whoop. Our entire pack just took 40 damage, and even our first one that actually got shot by some marines is almost dead. He's at 60 life, and the one who got hit is dead. This is with just one mine and no micro by the opponent. Set it. Now, you're probably gonna say that this isn't a big deal. Mines can only shoot once and stuff like that. Well, the problem with that is that now in Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, units naturally bunch together, obviously other than air, but your mutalists, you're microing automatically. And whenever you go to attack these guys, they're automatically going to bunch together. Mines, because of their base damage to air, is what really put the nail in the coffin for mutalists. If you'll watch streams these days, you'll see these players. They'll go mutalist, or they'll go Muta Ling Bane, and everything's gonna be fine. And then you'll hit 10 minutes in the game. All of a sudden, there's 4 fucking mines traveling with the army, and you can't do anything. You either lose all your banelings, you lose all your zerglings in the engagement, or you lose all your mutalists. Doesn't matter how much you spread out. If you spread out efficiently, they're eventually gonna bunch together, because the zerglings target one unit at a time, especially in choke points. Sometimes you can't even just avoid it. You can spread out, you can attack from multiple angles, but eventually, whenever the time comes to bunch together, or the time to surround or anything, the zerglings all will target one unit. You can spread them out at the end, but then you're multitasking 4 different places you're attacking from, and you've got to spread those 4 attacks out while getting shot, while getting mined. And that's assuming they don't have siege tanks, and that's assuming that they don't have mines just from fucking every angle. Sorry, my cat's fucking jumping at me. Sorry. And it's assuming they only have a few mines. Oftentimes, you'll see pushes with 10 mines. And then mines will be spread out all over the map. Mutalists also cannot target a mine without getting into ranges. So we'll demonstrate that. Oh, reset. And it means attack. So we're gonna go and we're gonna attack a mine. Attack! Oh wait, shit. Oh wait, can I not fucking see? Alright. Sorry. I forgot it would give me vision. Alright. Here, see if I can kill it before it fucking smokes by it. Okay, so you can kill these guys before. I thought you couldn't. But that's assuming you have an overseer around. So if there's multiple though, that'll happen. You'll get hit anyway. Because you gotta focus them down. How much life do they have? 90? So, 10 mutalists is what it takes to one-shot them. That's assuming they don't have stuff with them. Whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. When they have multiple mines is when it runs into trouble, and because your units naturally bunch together, you're always going to run into a lot of trouble facing a large Widow Mine / Marine Marauder force. Okay, so that's the preface of what I'm trying to say, is that basically you'll see these players, they'll go Muta Ling Bane, and for about 10 minutes it's kind of effective, and then all of a sudden they've got missile turrets. They've got missile turrets and they've got mines, and all of a sudden you can't attack, you can't harass. Your unit that is only good at harassing is no longer good at harassing, and that's about it. And then eventually, what'll happen is they'll get their medevacs up, and medevacs now with boost are now faster than your mutalist. So while you're on his side of the map trying to harass, even if you see his medevac, it's now too fast for you to ever stop. So you've got to bring all your forces home to try and stop it as he kills, whatever's in your base. Obviously, later you can get static defense and stuff, but during the mid game, that's usually not an option, because when you're going Muta Ling Bane, because this is a huge investment while you lose units and die to mines. Okay, so that'll be my first video. My next one will be actually a tutorial on what I do in response to this kind of build, and my build total, or my build overall. This was just kind of me ranting and getting pissed off at players who go Muta Ling Bane still when it doesn't work. If it does work, it means because the Terran player was bad and didn't make Widow Mines, because they should have been the whole time. Yeah, if you're playing a Terran player and they're not making Widow Mines, they're bad. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Widow Mines are good in every single way. They target air. They have large burst damage. They're not spider mines. They're not free. But they do large amounts of damage. And the only way to combat large Widow Mine armies is to have overlords with your army, which I'll talk more about later in the end game. But even in the early game, if they're spreading out their Widow Mines, all between choke points, and then having 4 or 5 with their army, and then having a couple at their base, all of a sudden their army is completely zoned out, their base is zoned out, and any movement by you through the map can cost you big time, for 75 minerals, I believe it is. Okay, so let me move on to my next video, and I hope to see you guys there. I hope this wasn't too I don't know, whiny. I didn't plan on it sounding whiny. Just this is less me complaining about the Widow Mine, because I'm not actually doing that. I'm not complaining that the Widow Mine is overpowered or anything, which it might be, but I'm complaining about the fact that Zerg players are forcing a unit composition that isn't effective anymore. They're forcing this unit composition to try and work when it just doesn't. It's no longer effective. If it was 80% effective before, it's 40% effective now, if that. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.